Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader, and before we begin, we'll need to run through our obligatory risk disclosure here, guys. So let's go ahead and do that. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading carries a substantial amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading. And only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex. And past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, hey Huang, hey Anthawil, how are you? Okay, Huang, is this your first visit, or have you been here before? I don't recognize the name. Huang, is this the first time you've joined me in this pre-market? All right, while I wait for Huang's reply here, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention here to the financial portal here and see what kind of news events we have in store today. Okay, so today being Tuesday, all right, so we're still kind of in earnings, right? So let's see here. We got let's see, we got New York Fed manufacturing. We got some fiscal monitoring report. We got some Bank of America earnings. We got Abbott earnings, ASML, Morgan Stanley, a number of bank related earnings on the docket today. Okay. Let's see. We have some Fed members speaking, and then we have some more earnings after the bell here. So I guess the biggest event here, outside the coming and going of the tariff news, U.S. saying that they're going to raise tariffs on China, China responding with some sort of communication that they're going to impose some things against the U.S. And that's obviously having some impact on the markets here, right? So that's something to be aware of. We're always at the mercy of some headline risk, okay, that could impact the markets, and tariffs, okay, tariffs seem to be the button here, okay. So have to be well aware of that. Anything along those lines could have the impact of the markets. And like I said, this kind of battle going on between China and the U.S. with respect to trade is beginning to have its impact on the markets here, okay. All right, so let's now that we've gotten through the news here, we're going to turn our attention over to the charts here, and we're going to go ahead and start with our normal charts that we normally start with. And let's see if I can go ahead and locate my let's see here. All right, here we go. So hopefully that's visible to you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn this over here a little bit. Yeah, so as you can see here, the news has had some impact across the board on all the markets here. Okay, we're going to start off with the gold market. Okay, so all this tariff business has kind of impacted the markets as well. So let's take a look at the daily here. Okay, and see what we can glean off of the daily. All right. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and remove our drawings. And so we've are developing a little bit of an indecision candle around the 4,200 level. We made an attempt here to reach the 4,200 level, and that so far has been rejected. You can see that we have developed a little bit of a wick, right? Developed a little bit of a wick here on a developing candle here. Okay, so daily candles showing a wick, but otherwise the market has been on a steady climb, right? What is the slope? What is the slope of this? What is the slope of this direction? Well, the direction still remains higher, right? So on the daily chart, we're still seeing indications that the market wants to continue to the upside, right? We are seeing maybe a little bit of weakness today. Okay, maybe as a result of some of the news events that we've had overnight coming from China. Okay, but nonetheless, the market still remains in a bullish trend here. All right. So looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see we're going to go ahead and turn off some of our initial balance. Certainly is going to something we were going to turn off here. So again, we can see that maybe a little bit in the way of some weakness maybe developing here. I say weakness is probably too strong of a word, but nonetheless, we are seeing that maybe a little bit of a loss of momentum here to the upside. Okay, we developed a bearish candle here after the close of the U.S. session. So looks like Asia and maybe part of London. We'll have to see when we look at the 30-minute chart. But we see that we are looks like we've moved into some sort of consolidation, right? We have a little bit of a bearish kind of channel forming at the moment here. Okay. Now we've identified some levels below, right, which we would expect to be supportive. This one being one of them, right around this 4,000. Let's call it. I'm going to call it 4,073, maybe 4,075. This level down here, I do expect to be somewhat supportive. Okay, assuming that we come back to retest that level. So that would be something that I would be, I guess want to be aware of. All right. So let's go ahead now and move on to the 30-minute chart. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, looks like we've created a little bit of a supply area here above, a little bit of resistance here above us. Okay, so looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we've developed a little bit of a supply zone. All right, a little bit of resistance zone here up on the 30-minute chart. Price has not been able to once it made this little sell-off during London. Okay, price has not been able to come back inside this area. All right, so we're going to take a look here and open up our fixed range volume profile for yesterday's price action. Yesterday, gold was relatively bullish. Okay, we had a relatively strong market yesterday, so we'll kind of draw this across here. And there's our extension. Okay, so let's see, Monday, yeah, start of Monday into close of Monday. Okay, so we had overnight actually a lot of interest here to the upside. Let's see. Okay. In any case, I think it offered us a little bit of an extension here on initial balance. We'll take a look at that here in a second. So we're going to go ahead now and open up our initial balance. We're going to do a little comparison between Asia, London, and then coming into the U.S. session. All right. So we're going to take a look and open up the Asia session to start. And you can see that we got a nice extension here to the upside, right? Nice extension to the upside before we reach the let me go ahead and remove this supply area here. We got I don't know why I don't have 200%. Do I have not 200%? Yeah, I got it. Don't have it. Okay. All right. So here are oop. I did not mean to do that. Let's reshare again. Sorry about that, guys. All right, I was trying to get the 200% added to this chart. Okay, so it got to, I don't know, looks like probably almost the 300% extension. Okay, if you take 1, 2, say 1, 2, 3, it looks like we got to the 200% extension, and we received some sort of news event, right? Some sort of news event that indicates that The gold was no longer the preferred item to have here with whatever market condition they felt we were headed towards. Okay. So we had a little bit of a sell-off at the tail end of Asia, okay, into the London session. So Asia was higher, okay. Asia extended higher, offered us a very nice extension here to the 200% and beyond. And then London, as we approached London, we got a little bit more in the way of selling. Okay, so let's take a look here at London. All right, we're going to go ahead and open that up. So we did make an attempt here to extend higher in London. That was met with some sellers. Okay, so looks like this particular candle here obviously wiped out a lot of hopeful buyers of this market, right? So we got a strong bearish candle here that wiped out a lot of hopeful buyers. We got one swing, and then we came back, and I suspect we came back to a kind of a known Fibonacci level. I suspect that maybe we came back to say the 50%. Let's see if I can draw this in a different way. Yeah, so we got to the 61.8% retracement of this level, and we found some more sellers. So every time we get any sort of impulsive move, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, I like using the 38, the 50, and the 50 and the 61.8% retracement levels for maybe an opportunity to. If I wasn't part of this move, then I often look at the 38, the 38, the 50, and the 61.8% areas to maybe look for an opportunity to participate in the move. So, like we said, Asia was to the upside. London maybe initially was kind of I guess would be considered more of a failed auction, right? We auctioned to the upside, and now looks like we're going to rotate all the way down to 41. I think that's the conclusion here. 41,017 level. Okay, before we enter in an area where we might find some buyers. Okay, so entering into the market here. Okay, so we're coming into an area where we have let's see, this is yesterday's range. All right, we're coming into an area and actually in the process of entering a value area from Monday. Okay, so the question now becomes: is this low end of value, right, which would be considered maybe a little bit of a discount, right? Would this offer us maybe a location, right around this 4110 level? Would this offer us a location maybe for price to bounce, right? Right now, we're seeing a lot of bearish price action in the markets, indicating that there's still a fair amount of interest here to the downside. Whatever this news event, we haven't really found any strong buyers yet. Okay, so but we are entering into some areas where we could expect to see some, right? There, we obviously came down to this 4110 level and we found some buyers. Okay, good morning, Aslan. We found some buyers. We drove price about 60% of this candle, and what did we find? We found more sellers. Okay, so the question now becomes: is where could we look for, assuming that we still are of the bullish variety or bullish view on this market? What would be some logical locations for reversal in price? All right, so let's take a look here. We're going to do an extension here and see where that might be. Okay, so there we have a couple of votes for this 4110 level, and then we have this level down below here, this 100% extension, which is around 4,073, which would be a pretty deep correction. Okay, but these are levels that we probably want to alert ourselves of. I think 4110 is something that I probably would want to create some sort of alert for, because we could get a similar reaction that we got the first time that we were here. Okay, so we got a reaction the second time. Now we're back right at this level again, and certainly we're testing the conviction of these buyers. Okay, so right now, until I get some sort of indication otherwise, right? Our view, right? We need to kind of focus our attention. Yeah, we need something. We need something to indicate. We need something to indicate that they're going to that this level, 3 bar reversal, bullish engulfing on a 15, something to indicate that this area is going to be supportive. So this 4110 level is going to be a level that I'm going to be watching. All right. We are developing I would say right for now, a rather normal initial balance range. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of these drawings here just to see that a little bit better. Okay. But I have to say, right, we've broken, as a result of this candle here, we've broken some structure here to the downside. We made an attempt to go higher, was again rejected. Now we are again in some sort of structure to the downside. So again, I'm going to be using all my tools to kind of gauge what the market sentiment is. Right now we have price below our 9 EMA, prices below our VWAP, and they're all kind of curling right to the downside. We have price inside a bearish channel. So as long as price remains in this bearish channel, there's really nothing for me to do other than to look for opportunities to the downside. Okay. We are coming into some areas that could cause reversal. So I have to be cognizant of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up my ADR here to see, how far this can go, how far this could travel. Well, we have this 4100 level on the A's as an ADR low. Okay. So a number of visible targets here to the downside, right? Right now we're at 4125. This could be an area where we could possibly reverse. Okay. Or we come down to 4110, which is again this 61.8% extension of this range. Or we have 4100, 40,000, 4095 is another area of support. So if we're looking for a reversal in price, then these would be the logical areas to support. Now, if I'm looking to participate to the short side, well, I need to locate areas, right? Prior areas, maybe back up to the 9 EMA, maybe back up to so right around 4140 would be a logical level. 4147 would be another logical level. This prior area of what was supportive here around 4143 could also offer me a location to participate in a short trade. Right now, I'm a little bit hesitant, although the path is in the bearish direction, to participate in the bearish side. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for a level. I'm going to wait for maybe a little bit of a retrace. Okay, a little bit of a retrace. So again, I'm going to be looking for something along these lines, right? Retrace, and then maybe it could offer me a more reasonable location where I can participate in this market to the downside. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Now, if we start to break structure above, right now it doesn't appear that way, but assuming that we get a point where we break some structure above, then maybe I can start turning my attention for maybe some bullish opportunities. But right now, it feels like we should be looking for bearish ones. All right. Let's go ahead and now that we have kind of a view of the gold, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market and see how the crude oil reacted to all this negative news in the market. Well, again, crude oil again does not seem to be any interest to participate in any sort of upside move at the moment. All right. We have the daily chart again, also giving us strong indications that it wants to head lower. Okay. We have a developing bearish candle here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off ADR here for a moment. Okay. So price is below our 9 EMA, below our VWAP, in otherwise structure, right? That's looking to go lower, right? There's nothing here that indicates that we're making higher highs and higher lows. On the contrary, we're making lower lows and lower highs. Okay. So the market appears to be bearish, right? And we need to continue to look for opportunities in that direction, in my humble opinion. Moving on to the 4-hour chart, kind of zooming in on these daily candles. Again, we can see that we're getting some steady interest here to the downside. Price remains, our 9 EMA is serving as a very nice guide to us, indicating that we are still very much in bearish market sentiment. We have price below our VWAP, also indicating that we are very much in bearish sentiment. We look to the left and see, is there anything that could stop this train, okay, from falling any further? Well, we're starting to come into a level, right? We have 56, okay, 56 down below, right? That seems like a logical level, right? We could potentially see price stall at that level. So we're going to go ahead and mark that up as an area of support potential. I say potential support. There's no guarantee that it will stop there, but this is kind of looking at the roadmap. That's kind of what we've been seeing of late here, right? So we have 50, we have 56, and then I don't know. There's maybe a little bit of a minor level around 58, which we are at the moment. Okay, so this is also another level that I'm seeing right about here is another logical level, but we're already at that level at the moment, right? So 58, 56 are a couple of areas that I'm going to be watching to see if we get any sort of pattern that would indicate that maybe price is maybe looking to reverse from these locations. Okay. Now, if I do my little Fibonacci analysis on this, right, I take the most recent swing in the most recent retracement. And again, I have a vote for 57.77. And then I have another kind of 100% extension down here at 55. So 1, 2, 3, 4 locations that I could use as targets for this market. Right now, we're at a point where we could potentially see some sort of reversal in price because that's a somewhat a minor level here. I would say that maybe we're going to probably revisit 57.20 before we do anything of such kind. Okay. And then ultimately, I would say that we're on the path of reaching 55 on this market. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. And let's see what the 30-minute chart has to say. Not much different than what we've already kind of experienced or have already said already on the 4-hour. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. And I think we know the answer to this question, but we will do this nonetheless. And that is, where is price in relation to yesterday's value range? And it remains below. Okay. Very, very strongly below. Okay. So this is our value range for Monday. Price kind of meandered its way for most of the session and into the Asia session, and then it got into London. And London, I don't know what it is about London, but London does not like its oil. Okay, every time we come into London, we get into another leg lower. Okay, to the point where I need to kind of maybe change my sleeping patterns here, and see how I might be able to participate in the London session. Okay. Yes, London loves crude. Now, I wouldn't say love, Aslan, at the moment. Right now, it doesn't seem like it has a very good relationship with London. Okay, it's rejecting oil at the moment in London. All right. So let's take a look at the initial balance ranges. I think we know the answers to some of these things, but just to kind of confirm my view of what I'm saying. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Asia to start. And Asia, like I said, didn't get to maybe the middle of the Asia session before we, again, this may be part of the news event. I'm not sure, but we got a nice extension here, right? A nice break of the 9 EMA. And then we hugged the 9 EMA all the way down and continue to do so. Now we've come down to this 57.77 level. We remain below. Looks like we found some buyers who've kind of stepped into this market to see if they might be able to kind of stem the tide here a little bit. All right. And they're trying to see what they can do to kind of drive oil prices higher. Okay. So, yeah. So in any case, Asia was lower on the initial balance range. And I suspect that London is also going to be lower. All right. Right. So we had an extension here to the downside. So 100% extension before we found some buyers of this market. Now, the question now becomes, is this 58.38 going to continue to offer us a location where we might be able to look for a continuation move here to the downside? Okay. Or are we potentially going to come back inside the range and maybe offer us maybe a rotation back to the upside? That's certainly a possible. And the last but not least is maybe given the large move, we've gone from 59.60 all the way to 58. Maybe we're going to be in for a digestion phase. Okay. Maybe there's a digestion phase, a digestion of all this price movement to the downside. I do expect that there's going to be some sort of reaction, okay, back to the upside. I would say that this 58.47 level could offer us maybe a location for a continuation trade to the downside. If I take a measure of this swing to the downside, let's take a look at retracement here. If I take a look at this swing, all right, so we have the 50%, okay, right around 58.70. Okay, that would be a nice logical location to participate, right? If not 58.70, well, then we have the almost the 59 level, right? 59 level could offer, that would be the 61.8% retracement. That's up here, right? So a lot of targets where we could participate in a downside trade. I'm not really interested in either direction at this point. I think we're a bit extended to the downside to participate in a downside move. I'd like to be able to sell some sort of strength, whether it's back up to 58.46, which would be VWAP, or some of these retracement levels. That's kind of what I'm looking for maybe a continuation move here to the downside in the crude oil market. Okay. So as we enter this session, guys, no surprise here on what I'm about to say here. I would say bearish to neutral in the crude oil market. Okay, until further notice. I think it's really hard to even begin to talk about crude oil in a bullish view. All right. Right now, we continue to remain in some bullish structure. All right. So I'm gonna put on my virtual hat here, guys. And as Faye would say, or as Marie would say, it's tax time. Okay, tax time means that I see that we have about a certain number of participants, but the likes are definitely lagging the number of participants that we have in this session at the moment. So I'm going to encourage you guys, if what I'm saying to you guys is indeed supporting you in your ability to analyze the markets, please pay the tax. Okay, I'm not asking. This is not a subscription. I'm offering this. All I'm asking is to hit the like button, give me a comment or two. Yeah, show Coach some love, right? Tell Coach that he should continue doing this on a daily basis. That he should wake up at 5 in the morning to offer you guys these reviews and analysis of the markets, right? Because again, it's your participation that's going to help drive me to continue to invest in this and to continue to expand the offering. Without your support, right? Obviously, you know what happens to things that don't get watered, right? Things don't get watered, they kind of dry up on the vine, right? And they dry up to the vine, they kind of fall off the tree, and it goes away, right? So again, encourage you guys to hit the likes, hit the subscribes if you're not already a subscriber, smash that notification bell, and give me a comment or two. All right, let others know on how this analysis is supporting your understanding of the markets and providing you proper context to engage with the markets. All right, and I got 2 likes. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ here. Okay. All right. Now I lost the like. I should have maybe stopped while I was ahead here. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, I think after we got some news on Monday with respect to the tariffs, obviously that was not met with any sort of love here, right? We got Friday's session was not met with any love when Trump said that we're going to impose some tariffs on China. Market did not like that. Okay, market sold off, and then for the most part, he kind of came in and kind of softened his position there a little bit, right? Okay, all right, thank you. He softened his position here a little bit, and market rallied to some degree, and then China came back sometime during the Asia session and said, okay, you want to impose tariffs on us? We're going to start imposing things on you, right? And so now they've responded. Okay, so a little bit of I don't know, battle going on trade with respect to trade, and the markets are very sensitive to that. Okay, right now, right? So any adverse news on trade is met with selling. Okay, I think we lost, I don't know, about 1%, maybe close to 2% on Friday, and then overnight maybe another close to another 1% today. Okay, um, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And maybe it is a little bit of a game, right? I don't know. But what I do know is that the market is reacting adversely, right, to when any sort of news related to tariffs. So so I need to be aware of some headline risks that I might have in the equities here at the moment. All right. So let's take a look at the daily. Let's see what kind of markets we're in here, right? So we got that large sell-off, right? We got that large sell-off on Friday. We got an inside candle on Monday, and now we have another kind of inside candle on Tuesday, but in the bearish direction. Okay, so we have a developing bearish candle on this market that has broken some structure to the downside. So we now have a candle that's below, right? We have a candle that's below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA. Okay. And looking at the volume delta bar, well, it looks like there are a fair number of sellers in this market, right? So 18,000 more sell market orders than we have buy market orders at the moment. Okay. So the question becomes, is this going to continue? Or is China going to continue to talk tough on tariffs? Is US going to continue to talk tough on tariffs? If so, then I would expect that the market was going to continue its fall. Okay, if they decide to kind of come to some sort of understanding and come to the table and come to an agreement, then I would expect the markets will receive that news well, and the markets will rally. Okay, so we have this kind of maybe a new indicator that we need to create, the tariff indicator, right? Maybe there's a tariff meter that we need so that someone can create here. All right, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, so 4-hour chart, again, sometime during actually Friday, again, we're back to this Friday here. We got that strong sell-off. Monday spent moving higher. Okay, and now we come into the Asia session, and Asia was not all too receptive to any NASDAQ kind of instrument or stock. Okay, so we got a little bit of a push lower. Okay, now we're coming into the U.S. session. We're starting to see maybe they're using this as an opportunity, maybe to add to some things here, right, to kind of continue to maybe stave off some of the negative news that we've received on tariffs. All right, so let's go ahead and turn off the initial balance range here for a moment. And let's take a look and see where we are. Okay, so again, we'll start off with the Asia market. I suspect we all know the answer to this question, but I will double confirm that. But during Asia, we had a little bit of, let's see, doesn't look like quite right here. Let's see. Oh, let's move down to the 30-minute chart. How about that? Now it should look a little bit better. Okay. All right. So nice little sell-off in the markets, right? So we got a push to the downside. We reached the 200% and beyond. So I would say that we are a little bit extended here to in one direction, assuming that they're China and US are going to continue to nice 200% extension. Okay, to the downside. I'm trying to see if I can recoup my arrow here. All right, so again, this location here, 24,720, seems like a ripe location, right, for maybe a possibility of a continuation move. Okay, assuming that China is going to continue to hold strong on their view on tariff, right? This location here, right, could offer us a location where we could maybe participate, right? This would be right at that VWAP, and it could offer us a nice extension to the downside. So that would be kind of a natural thing that I would say the market could be able to do. It would be able to do here. All right. So let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. And we're going to go ahead and navigate through here from Monday into today. We're going to drag this across. All right. So we are well below value. Okay. Indicating there's a fair amount of interest here. Fair amount of interest to the downside in this market. Let's see if maybe we can change this candle color to some maybe blue. All right. There it is. Okay. I don't know if that's more visible, but in any case, Asia drove price lower. London drove price a little bit more neutral, right? More of a little bit of a failed auction, right? It said, okay, enough's enough. I really, Asia really not on board with your view here of the NASDAQ. Okay. So we had a little bit of a failed auction, and now we're hovering at the low end of value. Okay. So with the assumption that, some of these Asia folks that came in and sold off some of NASDAQ, well, I would expect that this whole area could offer us locations where the Asia participants could step back into this market, right? So if I draw in my Fibonacci retracement levels here, I know I have a lot of lines here, guys. Bear with me. All right. So we have this 50% extension retracement right around 24,761. And then we have another retracement level here at 24,826. Okay. So if we're super strong in this move to the downside, then I wouldn't expect that we get too much higher than 24,720 before we continue our move. Okay. If the strength of this move to the downside isn't as strong, well, then we have the 24,677.64 level, and then we have the 24,830 level that could offer us locations for continuation moves to the downside. Okay. So right now, we're starting to see some structure that would indicate that the market looks like it wants to head lower. Okay. We are below our 9 EMA. We are below our VWAP. So as long as price remains below both of them, my view remains to the bearish side. Now, I don't know, with this candle here, did we kind of fill in the gap? Not quite. Okay. We didn't fill in this gap before we got some buyers here. So 24,500, okay, 24,500 seems to be an area of interest for some buyers. So we're going to go ahead and mark that in green. Okay, that's the low of the day, right? We have not made a new low since we reached the 24,500 level during the overnight session. Okay, so is this going to continue to hold? If so, that could cause maybe a rally, at least up to, I would say, the high end of this initial balance range, and that also coincides with the VWAP as well. So headed into the market, I would say that my view is somewhat bearish. Okay. All right. I'm going to be looking to see if the market participants are going to continue to drive this market lower. I'm going to be looking at any sort of headline risk that would give us any indication on whether there's a softening on the China side with respect to some of the comments they made overnight, or are they going to continue with their view that they're going to meet the U.S. head on with any sort of any sort of news on tariffs on them? They are going to likely return the favor to us. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see. Okay. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of initial balance range. We have our levels. Now the question is, we need to kind of wait for price to reach some of these levels and be patient, and then see if we get the reactions that we're potentially looking for anyway, for a continuation move here to the downside. Okay. All right. That was a mouthful. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ES. We have about 15 minutes before the market opens. And I know I have a fair number of people who like to take the opening range breakout trade. So we'll try to accommodate those folks as best we can. All right. So similar to, we're looking at the ES now, similar to the NASDAQ, you can see that we are developing a bearish candle. I can't say that this bearish candle is necessarily volume is really aligned with that at the moment. Okay, so if I look at this and I kind of stretch this out here, we're seeing bearish candles here, but not the same kind of follow through that you would expect to see, right? So this move back is we have a bearish candle, but that volume does not, in my humble opinion, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't think this price candle really volume wise does it justice, right? So this candle, while bearish, doesn't give me the indication or fear that there's a lot of volume coming into the bearish side here at the moment. Okay, take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart again, we're looking at the volume really not participating here at the moment. So indication that maybe there is some sort of area of balance that's being established here around the 6600 level. Hard to see, hard to determine this at the moment. But right now, we're not getting much in the way of participation from either side. Not a whole lot of aggressive buying or selling going on at the moment, right? But we're about 13 minutes away from the open of the session here. Okay. So again, the 4-hour chart giving us the same kind of indication here that price is below some of the things that we care about with respect to price here, indicating that there's still a fair amount of bearish participation going on in this market. Okay. So we do know that we have not made a new low in this market. So again, I'm kind of inclined to draw a little bit of a demand area right here until it's broken. So we're going to mark this off in green, indicating that this is a bullish area, right? And price is hovering around the 9 EMA. We are seeing a little bit of a slowdown, right? A little bit of a slowdown in the downside movement in this market, right? I'm looking at volume again, not really super aggressive in any direction here at the moment. All right. So let's take a look here and let's kind of compare. Let's start off with the fixed range volume profile. Let's see what price was able to do here. Let's see from Monday. So let's start here, drag this across to the close. And again, you can see that price is below our value range. So people were willing to pay a premium to be part of this market to the downside. We're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown. Is it going to be enough of a slowdown maybe to repair some of this move to the downside? That's certainly a possibility. Price is below our VWAP, indicating that maybe that might be a location where we could see price continue to the downside. Okay. So next thing I'm going to take a look at is initial balance, just to kind of confirm already my view here is we're going to start with the Tokyo or Asia here. Okay. Asia session was very much, again, nice 200%, maybe 250% extension to the downside during Asia. Nice move to the downside. Retraced, could not even reach the 9 EMA, and we continued to the downside. This time we reached the 9 EMA, found some more sellers. Okay, London. Let's take a look at London here before we look at the last market of the day here, and that would be the Dow. So we're going to take a look at London and see what London was able to do with this market. London, a little bit more range bound, right? Not really embracing the idea that maybe we should take this market lower. Okay. London has been able to kind of stave off some of the move that the Asia session was, and probably a reaction of some of the comments that China was making with respect to tariffs and how they plan on answering all these inferences about raising tariffs on China. China's responding with their own methods as well. Okay. So London in some sort of range. So I don't know if we continue to stay in range. Again, we have the VWAP that kind of offers us maybe a location where we could entertain a possibility of a move lower. I'm kind of of the opinion now as I look at this, maybe that we could have maybe a little bit of a repair day. Maybe we can get up to maybe 6680, assuming that we don't get any more adverse news and maybe some softening on the U.S. side that could cause the market to rally here a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's look at the last market of the day, and that's the Dow. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart here. And again, similar to all the other equity markets, we have an inside bearish candle being created here. in structure that still appears to be bearish, right? So we're developing a little bit of a bullish candle here, but in a market that's maybe broken some structure here to the downside. So daily also indicating bearish activity. We have about, I don't know, 6,000 or so sell market orders than buy market orders here at this point. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart also giving us some indication of the same. Getting a little bit of a wick here on this side. Okay, so we have a good amount of volume to the downside, but I can't say that necessarily that's necessarily translated in price. We're seeing a little bit of it in the way of some buying wicks, indicating maybe that we are getting some buyers maybe potentially starting to nibble here at these levels, but price remains below some of these areas that we care about. All right, so taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we're going to take a look at some of these initial balance ranges to start. We're going to go ahead and remove our drawing here, the main drawing of this bullish channel that I had drawn here. Okay, similar to the other markets, we're seeing maybe a little bit of a slowdown in this bearish move. Okay, we're at the edge of initial balance here on the London side. We reacted away, kind of like almost like a little bit of a failed auction behavior going on the London side. If we open up the Asia session, I suspect the same answer that we got for both NASDAQ and the ES, right? We got a nice extension here to the downside, well beyond the 200% extension. Now we're maybe a bit extended here to the downside. Again, we have this VWAP area here around 46,074, also serving as an area of maybe where our point of control is for this visible range volume profile. Okay, so again, if we are going to continue in this bearish structure, this area right here would be a logical area where we could see maybe a reversal or continuation move to the downside in this market. Okay, we're going to take one peek at the fixed range volume profile. I think I know the answer. Oh, Dave S., thank you so much, my friend. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate you. That will go to at least a coffee or two. All right. Let's see. What was I going to do? Oh, fixed range volume profile. I got this combobulated here a little bit with the nice donation here from Dave here. So long time supporter of the channel and continues to support me. Okay, thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate you. All right, let's see. I was going to take a look at Monday's range here. So if I can find Monday's range. So we'll start off back here. I'll drag this across here. Okay, so again, similar to the other equity markets, you can see that we are seeing, fair amount of bearish momentum here to the downside. We are seeing a little bit of a slowdown. We could see maybe a little bit of a pullback, as I mentioned, and maybe look around this 46,075 level for a continuation move to the downside. I feel like maybe we're going to repair maybe a little bit, assuming that we don't get any more adverse news here. Okay. Assuming that we get and no more adverse news here, I do expect that maybe the market will rally here a little bit, at least be able to get back up to maybe the VWAP 46,100 maybe before we see any sort of continuation move, or maybe we just stay in range until we get some further news on the tariff front. All right, so let's take one last peek here, guys, as I we prepare for the market here. So looking at the 30-minute chart here on the gold here, we'll take a look at not Tokyo, but the regular trading day session here. And you can see that we're, developing a rather neutral kind of initial balance range here at the moment. Okay. Market price is still below, right? Below our 9 EMA. So we have to be wary. I would say that we have to be wary of maybe any sort of potential, I would say kind of failed auction opportunity, right? So we could potentially auction higher only to come into this consolidation area and they could continue to drive price lower. Okay. That's kind of my I guess my current hypothesis right now is that maybe that this area could serve as maybe a location for a continuation move to the downside, because we've been in a very strong move here to the upside here, and I don't know what it was about the news event, but that was not received very well, and the market has kind of reacted again to the downside. So if we are going to be bearish, I would say that it would be nice if we got a little bit of a pullback back up to the VWAP, and that would offer us maybe a continuation move to the downside. Crude oil, what can I say about crude oil? Well, it looks like it caught a little bit of a bid here. At the moment I start to kind of say, okay, well, it's time to kind of throw in the towel on crude oil. It's reacting away from this 58 level. Okay, we suspected that might be the case, right? We came into a level of support, but I would say that we're not necessarily out of the woods on the bullish side. But it looks like we did get some participants with maybe with a cachet of funds here. 4,000 buy market orders came into this market. Okay, and that is now translating into price. Closing has the potential of having closing price above our VWAP. Okay, which could translate at least to maybe getting us back up to this 60, 59, 72 level. Okay. Yeah, gold and the Nasdaq have indeed been a little bit of a tandem. That is correct. Okay. Crude oil is kind of beating on its own drum, right? It's doing its own thing, right? Crude oil might rally as a result of all the uncertainty around these other markets. Okay. All right. One last peek at the Nasdaq as we approach the opening of the session here. Again, we are seeing a little bit of a slowdown in this downward move. Again, need to be careful again with the equities given the headline risk. But again, headed into the market, I think we still remain on the bearish side. If we're going to remain bearish, obviously we're going to stay below our VWAP. Okay, VWAP offers us a nice location here to maybe participate in a continuation move to the downside. I'm kind of looking to the left here and see if there's any room to the downside. And I would say that we still have a fair amount of room here to the downside in this market. Okay. All right. So yeah, Nasdaq, I would say, continues to be looking a little bit bearish. Yes, also feeling that way as well. We drew in this demand zone, but I'm seeing selling wicks. So we have not been able to make any sort of new highs here, right? This only got us this rally only got us to more sellers. More sellers kind of stepped into this market. So right now it's kind of behaving maybe it's a little bit more balanced kind of price action, right? We're getting equal number of buyers and sellers. Looks like we got some buyers that stepped into this market here. We got about 10,000 more buy orders than sell orders here at the moment. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to translate into price, but we'll have to wait and see. And then last but not least is the Dow here, guys. And then the Dow also is looking and showing a little bit of strength here as well. So similar kind of view. So I would say across the equity markets, while we are bearish, right? We're in some bearish structure. We're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown in this bearish move, and that we could potentially see maybe a little bit of a rally here in today's session. So looks like bearish to neutral in the gold. Crude oil maybe turning a bit bullish, and equities also, I would say, bearish to neutral. Okay. As long as we stay below the VWAP. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for me. That's all I have for you. I'm going to be kind of watching the markets here over the next hour or so and see what I can pull out of the market. Okay. Hopefully you got something out of this. And again, encourage you guys. Thank you so much for attending today's session. Again, as you exit the building, as you exit the door, please don't hesitate to hit the likes and subscribes. Please don't hesitate to give me a comment or two on the portal. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Okay, I'm about 9-10. So tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your relatives, tell anyone who does any sort of trading on the futures, on the value that I bring. And with that, we'll close this session with a trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much for your support of the portal and support of me and my tell wife and kids. Yes, tell anyone that matters, right? Let them know that they should be watching this and watching what videos around the markets. Okay, all right, guys, that's it for me. I'll be hanging around in my normal locations for those who follow me on Top Step. Okay. Otherwise, we'll be back at this bright and early tomorrow morning. Okay. Until then, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have a good one, guys.